So as Ron Paul becomes more influential, the media becomes more aggressive. That's fair enough, I suppose. If you believe in freedom in the United States, those things will happen. The Republicans, well, what will happen? I've got a rough idea, but Andrew Breitbart is the real expert. He joins us from Washington. Sir, what's going to happen tonight?
I think right now the conventional wisdom is that it's between Mitt Romney and Ron Paul, but if Ron Paul finishes in anything other than first place, I think it's a disaster for him because the radical left, of which many of his followers come from, and people on the right, people who are pro-Constitution and all those things, Ron Paul, they're hinging everything on a surprise victory. But if he doesn't win, they're going to have a hard time trying to continue up this momentum, and then there's going to be a push to try and turn him into a third-party problem, which would pose a huge problem to his son, Rand Paul, because he is a member of the Republican Party. Rand Paul is in Iowa right now, pushing for his father's victory in this caucus. And if he goes against the Republican Party and creates a third-party chaos, Rand Paul will be the object of the Republican establishment's ire.
That's fairly likely, though, isn't it? He's a natural third-party candidate, really.
Well, then he shouldn't have run and as a Republican. He shouldn't have wasted people's time acting as if he's a Republican. If he's not a Republican, if he doesn't think that his idea set doesn't fit within the Republican Party, then he should run as a third-party person. So for him to then storm off and run as a third-party person, he very well understands that that would probably put President Obama into the position of giving him a great advantage going into the primaries, and that would make an argument against this guy's purity as a person who thinks he's a Republican or a conservative to put Obama back in office.
It's one thing to have conservative libertarian ideas. I think that's very much within the purview of conservative discussion and debate. But he goes much further. His foreign policy is quite radical. It is in many ways to the left of the Democrats.
It is, and it's a reminder. Look, there's a lot of confusion in the political parties in this country because so many people have changed, over the years. There's been so many exoduses from people going from one party to another based upon certain factions, and Ron Paul's foreign policy is a reminder of what the Republicans were like in the 1930s and in the 1940s. They were isolationists. There's a huge tension in the United States in the conservative movement between the Ron Paul isolationists and the quote-unquote neocons who they believe in being the world's police force. Huge battle going on within the conservative movement, has been going on for a long time.
Right. The other candidates outside of the main two or even three, how well do they have to do? Because some of them can afford to not win this one and still be viable candidates, can't they?
I think that this is a do-or-die situation for for Michelle Bachmann, obviously. I think that if she won the Ames straw poll over a month ago, I think it's close to 2 months ago, and for her to be so distant in the state that she was born in would be disastrous for her, and I think it would be wise for her to step out. I think also that Newt Gingrich, who less than a month ago was the odds-on favorite and was really a rising star, has been absolutely pummeled by Team Romney, and has shown that his lack of organization, his lack of having money to defend himself against these the negative ad campaign against him has been disastrous. If he finishes third and beyond, I think he's not doing so hot, and I think it would be to the great benefit of the primaries, because the last 4 months has been tedious watching these debates with so many people out there, the majority of which the Republican Party have not totally gotten behind. So it will be very interesting that if Mitt Romney does in fact win, because that really sets up a paradigm that will be difficult for any of the other candidates to defend against.
Obama, for all of the egalitarian nonsense that he spews, raised $700 million last time. He'll probably have $1 billion this time to try and become president again. Who can raise the most money on the Republican side to really take him on? Because a lot of it is about money.
Well, I think Romney is very wealthy and could afford to push instigate a lot of that. And I think that the money, look, if Romney wins in Iowa and if Romney wins, he's going to win in all likelihood in New Hampshire, especially if he has a strong showing in Iowa. People are going to get behind the winner. He was the governor of the state of Massachusetts, which is basically New Hampshire's a bedroom community for, Massachusetts. And I think that this guy has all of the makings of the piggy bank, the people that people will give money to. It's one of the reasons why people want to vote for him is because of the perceived viability of his candidacy and how much establishment types would feel comfortable giving him loads of money.
Mm-hmm. So I think he'll win. I also think he will win the election against Obama. Do you agree?
You know what? There's so much that can happen between now and then. Yep. I'm the worst prognosticator in the world. I think that the media, which created the Obama presidency through the sins of omission, not telling you who he was, that people will get to learn who the real Barack Obama is, his real biography, because alternative media is going to insist upon it. And I think that what he's created in this country, this class warfare, pitting Americans against each other, is the exact opposite of the hope and change that he promised. And with unemployment at an inexplicably high rate and consistently so, and his own standard in which he said that he would be a one-term president if the economy didn't bounce back. And not only did it not bounce back, he's incurred more debt under this presidency than any previous presidency, including two-termers.
Okay. Andrew, a pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.